Hi, everyone, and welcome to Manny's Paranormal, where I tell paranormal stories, real paranormal stories that have happened to me throughout my life, and some that have happened to family members and friends. Today, I want to tell a story about Grandma's house. Grandma's house was creepy. Um, I was kind of my grandmother's favorite, so when I was little, she used to always have me come and stay the weekends with her and stuff. She would spoil me. But the house was not normal. I remember from like the first memory I have of going to grandma's house. Um, she had my two uncles lived there with her, and they were both musicians. They used to play in bands and that kind of stuff. So they were always out late, and they would come in late. So me and my grandma would be there alone, until like they come home like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I vividly to this day remember being in that house. Grandma would go to bed, I'd go to bed, and I'd be laying there under the covers. And you could hear clearly people walking around and talking. It would freak me out. My grandmother was super religious. She would just say, "Don't worry, sweetie. I'm praying. God will protect us." And I was like, all right, now I would fall asleep. But later, when I got a little older, uh, things started happening. And then when my grandmother died, I had a really bad experience in that house. Um, so the first really creepy thing were things that my uncles were telling us. My uncles said, and so my two uncles were in bands, and then one of them managed another band. I mean, they made a living doing this. This was their actual job, and they would come home pretty late at night, and sometimes they had a recording studio out, in a separate building on the property, and it was legit. It had the soundproof walls and all that stuff. So sometimes they'd be out there rehearsing till late into the night. And they said, and I mean, I heard it from multiple people, but my uncle Jack told me that they were out there rehearsing one time, and there was no bathroom out there. They had to come in the house to use the bathroom, and he said it was late, like 1 or 2 a.m. And he there was this little like patio, and then he came in the back door, and then the bathroom was in the hallway. And he said he came in, he wasn't paying attention, he looked up, and at the end of the hallway, my grandmother was asleep and her door was closed, but at the end of the hallway, he saw this conquistador, like with the metal armor that they used to wear, but it was it didn't have a head, and it was holding its head. And he said it freaked him the fuck out. You know what I mean? He ran back out, and then everybody came in. Of course, it was gone. But my other uncle saw the exact same thing, and then some of the band members that they used to manage saw the same thing. They all, because these their band members were real close. They were like family, so they'd be around at Christmas and stuff like that. And then they would say, "No, we saw it too. We saw the exact same thing." And I was little. I didn't pay that much attention to it. You know what I mean? I didn't think too much about it, except for when I would stay with grandma. I started hearing shit, and I thought a little more about it. But um, so you fast forward a couple years, and my mom and dad, they had like a tumultuous marriage. They finally ended up getting a divorce. But when they would get in a fight, my mom would go up to her mom's, my grandmother's house, and we were probably, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, maybe 20 minutes away from where my grandmother lived. So my mom would always go to her mom's house, and of course, she would always bring us. And one night, I remember, shit freaked me out. I can see it to this day. So we got there, my mom's all upset because her and my dad got in this big fight. So my grandmother, there was like this day room. I really don't know what you'd call it, but it was a little narrow room. It had a closet in it, but it wasn't a bedroom. It was like half the size of a bedroom. It was like long and narrow. And it had like a day bed on one side and a little day bed thing on the other side. And then there was a TV at the end. So you could go sit in there, or you could lay down and, go to sleep or whatever. And a lot of times me and my sister would just go in there and watch TV when the adults were doing whatever. So on this night, my mom came in and she laid me down in one of the little day beds, and the other one was a little bigger. So her and my sister laid down on that one, and she turned the TV on, and we're laying there. And I'm a little kid, so I just fell asleep. So I'm sleeping, and I feel my mom shaking me, and I wake up, and I look up, and my mom's like, "Come on, sweetie, get up." And she looks kind of freaked out. She's got like a purpose, like, get up, go wake up. So as I sit up, I look over, my little sister standing right here. My little sister, she gonna be pissed I put this shit in the video, but she used to suck her thumb. So she's sitting there, she got a little blanket, and she's looking behind my mom. And as I'm making this video, there's one of those doors right behind me right now, one of them sliding doors. And one of them sliding closet doors, and it was moving really slow, but it was moving by itself, like opening up. And I was just waking up, you know what I mean? And my little sister standing with a little blankie looking at it, and I'm looking at her over my mom's shoulder, and my mom's like, get up, So she gets us out of there, and as we're leaving the room, the thing started opening back up. It was fucking freaky. But I was a little kid, man. I knew it was weird, but I don't know, kind of didn't compute, you know what I mean? So my mom went into my uncle's, because this happened in the middle of, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. My uncles were home. And we went into my uncle's room, and my mom woke him up. She's like, the fucking closet door's opening and closing. And I'm shit you not. He wakes up, and we're standing there. We're all freaked out. He wakes up, and he goes, oh, don't worry about it. It happens all the time. Just go back and go to sleep. I'm like, fuck no. My mom says, nah. So we went in the living room. There was a big living room with a fireplace, had big couches and stuff. So we all went to sleep out there. And a lot of little creepy shit like that happened. A lot of, like those closet doors did that a bunch of times. You could have brought one of those ghost shows in and they'd have got footage of fucking closet door opening and closing. So my grandmother passes away, unfortunately. And for some reason, my mom, my dad, me and my sister were at my grandmother's house. I don't know why. Maybe they had to do something to prep for the people coming over after the funeral or whatever. I don't know. But so we were there, and then my mom and my sister had to go down and deal with something at the funeral home or something. So he left me and my dad. And my dad's a typical man. All men know this. There's one setting that we use, and that's high. You turn the burner all the way up, you turn the sink on high, and my dad turned the iron on high. And I had these little fucking polyester dress pants. I remember they were like dark blue. Fucking hideous, man. But anyway, my dad, he's trying to do the right thing. He's going to iron them for me. But he turns in fucking that iron on high, the fucking highest setting, And he puts my little pants down, and he goes, and it just melted them. They just fucking melted, and I'm just standing there, and he goes, fuck. He goes, look, we're not home. You don't have anything else here to wear. And we can't go home and then back to the funeral. There's not time for that. So he goes, you're just going to have to stay here, go in the room, in the day room where the closet's open and closed. But I wasn't even thinking about that. And he goes, just, be good, stay in the house. We'll come get you after the funeral. So I'm like, all right, So I go in there. My dad leaves. I go in there and I lay down. And I fall asleep because I'm a little kid, So I'm laying in there, I'm sleeping, and I hear all this chatter. Like I hear people talking, and I hear covers, and I'm like, oh, everybody's back from the funeral. After a funeral, everybody comes back and they have food, and, you speak of memories past and all that shit, And I was close with my grandma. But anyway, and honestly, man, I was a little fat kid. So I thought there was going to be a bunch of food, pie and shit. My little fat ass was looking forward to it. But anyway, I got up and I hear all this chatter and people and stuff, you know what I mean? So I go and right directly across the hall from this little room was a bathroom. And, I'd been sleeping for a while, I had to pee. So I go in there, I go pee and everything. And then you had to walk down this hall and you turn left, and then left was a hallway straight to the front door. But in the middle of that hallway was a doorway to the kitchen. And I could hear everybody talking and stuff in there, and I'm still kind of a little woozy. And so I go pee, I come down the hall, make the left, and I turn into the kitchen, and there's nobody in there. And all the fucking cupboard doors are open, and it's fucking ice cold. And I'm standing there, and I'm looking around, and then I got fucking creeped out. Now the door was about, if I went back to that little door, the front door was only like 10 feet away. So I run to that. Now I'm freaked the fuck out. I'm a little kid. I'm by my fucking self. I run out the front door. I leave the door open, and I'm sitting on the porch, and I'm looking in the house because I don't want anything sneaking up on me. And I'm freaked the fuck out. I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting there, and my My grandmother had one of those fucking Napoleon Dynamite phones. It was this yellow, hideous fucking 70s fucking Brady Bunch phone. And it had this long ass cord. I mean, so you could like, if you wanted some privacy, you could like walk around the hallway and down into another room. It was literally, you could go like 20 feet with that fucking thing. And it was hanging on the wall and I could see it. It was, when you walked in the kitchen, it was right to the right. So when I out from the door, I'm looking right at it. I can see it there. I sat on that fucking porch for probably 2-3 fucking hours before one of the adults finally said, "Oh shit, we left a fucking 8-year-old or however old at grandma's house by himself for hours while we went to the funeral and whatever they were doing." Man, it took fucking forever, you know? So my mom, I guess, got worried, and so she calls the phone. I'm on the front porch and I'm looking at that fucking phone. I don't want to go in there. I'm fucking terrified. I do not want to walk in that fucking house. But I see the phone ring and I know it's my mom or my dad's. So I run in, I fucking grab the phone, I run out and I'm sitting on the fucking porch and I'm screaming, you know, freaking out to my mom. So they get worried because I'm freaking out and I'm telling them on the porch, you know, I mean, you know, anybody could come by and take me or whatever. I'm a little kid. So they're like, all right, we're on our way. I just set the phone down outside. I wasn't going back in that fucking house. So the cord is coming all the way out and it's on and I'm scared, you know what I mean? But at least now I know they're coming to get me. So I'm sitting on the porch and it was probably, from where they were, it was probably 25-30 minute drive. So I had another 25 or 30 minutes before the adults decided to come get the little kid. But you know, this was the fucking 70s. It was a different time. Things were just different back then. Anyway, they show up and I'm on the porch, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting, the door's open and that cord's out. And my mom and dad get out of the fucking car and they start walking up and the fucking door slams. Whack. Dude, it freaked me the fuck. I ran. I got in the car and I wouldn't go in there. And my mom and dad are standing there looking at each other like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I said, I'm not going. Because, you know, I had my stuff in there. I had all my stuff for getting us ready. I go, I'm waiting in the car. And they went and they got all our shit. They came back and we left. And I never ever went back in that fucking house. That place was creepy. And a weird little side story. My wife and I, years later, we bought a house like 10 minutes from that place. Maybe not even 10 minutes. I mean, maybe 5 minutes. It was literally like a half mile away, or if that. And every once in a while, man, you know, I'm a business owner. I owned a little sign company back then. And my sign company was like in between my house. It was in a little strip mall in between the house and my grandmother's place. And every once in a while, I would just get in my truck and I would drive by that place and look at it and think, fuck, man, I wonder if the people that are in there now are seeing shit and hearing shit, because I knew what was going on in there. But anyway, that's a story of my grandma's house. It was creepy as hell, and I had a bunch of experiences. I probably can't even remember them all because I was so small, because she lived in that house my whole life until she died. But anyway, if you like these kind of stories, if you like real paranormal stories, stuff that really actually happened, maybe you could give me a like and subscribe, trying to get this channel off the ground. I'd appreciate it. Everybody have a great day or night or whenever you're listening to this. Thanks.